In today's video, I wanted to share how January went based off of the goals I set for the year, which I broke down into quarters. I love quarterly goals. They're like long enough to make you feel like you can achieve a good amount of the goal, but short enough to give you that sense of urgency that you actually need to get something done today and this week and this month in order to achieve it by the end of the quarter. I think I did pretty okay for January. There was of course some wins, some improvements need to be made as expected, but yeah, let's first get cozy. But yeah, how did January go? So in the last quarter of last year, I just kept getting sick over and over. There was a health scare, and then after I healed from the health scare, like during Christmas and New Year's, I got sick with COVID. And then after I healed from that, I was all like, great, 2024, gonna focus solely on health, gonna be the
healthiest this in the neighborhood.
Then the new year came around and I got sick after I healed. 5 days after I healed from COVID, I got sick with the cold. And that just knocked me out until like January 10th. And I was like, okay, now 10 days of January is already over. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep up my goal or health in the first month, but luckily I joined a new gym that opened up in my neighborhood and it was really good, and I have been actually going there roughly 3 times a week, which I'm pretty happy about. And as for eating at home more, I used to go out and eat for lunch like 5 days a week, which is not very good. So now I've been trying to focus on trying to create simple meals. At first it was once a week, now it's at twice a week to try to be able to eat home cooking for lunch and not be eating out. The main focus for this year, especially in like our late 20s, is mainly focusing on eating healthy, sleeping enough, getting our bodies moving, making sure that our mobility, functionality, flexibility and agility are all in good health so that our bodies can last for a long time. And then next up is putting on some of the toner. Oh, also, since last year, I've been making my coffee at home now, and it's been really good. And the thing is, I always used to love buying coffee from Starbucks every day, my $5 coffee, but I felt like I could spend that $5 on something else. So what I like to do with the coffee is actually at home, because I usually like to buy my coffee. Instead, what I did is I would make my coffee at home, and then I would take some of the plastic reusable cups from the stores and just pour the coffee in the reusable cup as if I bought it. An extra step, but psychologically it works. It makes me feel like I bought the coffee. I don't know why. And like improve my habits of what I want to do, then it gets the job done, right? Which is to drink coffee at home. And honestly, I'm like, now I think my coffee tastes better. Small incremental changes are the way to go. My sleep schedule was pretty bad when I had my cold at the time just because it was so uncomfortable, but usually after January 10th, I was slowly able to get my sleep schedule back on track, barely. Sometimes it oscillates and gets off track. I try to sleep around before midnight and then wake up around 7 or 8. Sometimes I stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. It's not very good. So that's everything under health. Now we're going into relationships. Ooh, spicy. I put on some moisturizer. I usually keep my skincare pretty simple. I think less is more, also because I'm lazy, so I like the idea less is more. It's just an excuse. So, relationship with myself, I was able to go on a couple of solo dates. Got dressed up, went to 2 different restaurants. So my friend relationships, I felt like I didn't go out with them as much as I usually do. I don't know why January I felt like being a hermit, but the good thing is I did a lot of co-working sessions with them, so a lot of them, they work remote. So we just worked online together, and how we make that work without getting distracted is pretty much using a Pomodoro method. We switch it around between 25 minutes work to all the way up to 45 minutes work, and then around 5-minute or 10-minute breaks, you know, changing it up based off the type of work we're doing and how focused we need to be. And we were able to spice it up. So for one of my group of friends where we do co-working at cafes usually, instead of going to our usual neighborhood cafe, we decided to switch it up and go to another one a couple of cities away because we wanted to eat authentic Japanese food for dinner, and so we thought we might as well make it a day trip to that city being Torrance near Los Angeles. Worked for many hours and then went and get authentic Japanese dinner, which I think is a great mix, a great change of pace. I was actually pretty excited for that change of pace. Okay, and relationship with family. I was able to get my mom to go to the gym with me this month, which has been really good. I was really inspired by Joanna Aragon on Instagram. She talked about how she was able to get her parents to go work out because I would like nag my parents to go work out, but they wouldn't really. My dad is generally pretty fit. My mom was definitely not, so I was really concerned about her. And so I learned from one of Joanna's posts that what she did with her parents, like they were on a similar boat. Even if you like teach them the moves, even if you take them there. They don't really want to do it as much as if you are doing it with them and guiding them. So my goal was to also start out like her, which is to have my mom do it once a week. And she's getting into a good flow, so now we're upping it to twice a week. And it's really nice because she just recently, by the end of the month, she said that she's starting to feel like her legs are stronger and that she's more comfortable walking longer distances, which I'm really happy for. That means we're making really great progress. Okay, now I'm gonna be putting some Aquifer on my lips. I don't even know if I'm allowed to put this on my lips, but in general, but this is like the one game changer where all I need to do is put it either before I go to sleep or when I wake up, and I will never get cracked lips. It's amazing compared to like different chapsticks and anything like that. So it's very no frills, very ugly. I don't know if we're supposed to be using it on our mouths, but it works, so I'm not complaining. And then going over some work stuff, lately I've been changing the way I work. I've been testing out a new approach, trying to understand my mind better and how I work best. But before we go into that, I also want to talk about kind of applying for doing things as side quests. So I applied for like 2 opportunities this last month, and it'll be cool if it goes through or not, but if not, that's okay. It was just like one of those things, like I saw an application for cool opportunities and I was just like, I should just try and apply. I try to go based off of my whim if something interests me, and these are not related to like the main things I want to do, but I think they'd be really fun life experiences. I call them side quests. Some people may say it's just like doing it for the plot. Yeah, you want to enjoy your life and try new things. And the cool thing about in video games about side quests is that while it's not part of the main quest, sometimes when you go on a side quest in, let's say, a video game, you get to experience something or get a reward or an opportunity that you didn't expect. So it's very curious, very whimsical, which is very different from always like a serious intention towards your main goal. Yes, focus on your main goal, but also make sure to enjoy life along the way, right? And be open to flowing into a different direction if that's where life takes you. Okay, finished with the skincare and hair care, so let's go get some tea. Okay guys, let's talk about work styles. So in the last month, I've actually been trying out a new work style that I think might fit better for me and how I work and how my brain runs. For the longest time, I've spent so long trying to be a super consistent person, checking off a list of things I need to do each day, not really being able to be consistent. So for a long time, I thought there was like, maybe something's wrong with me. But then I heard about this other sprint approach to work and projects. When I heard about this and I thought back to my own life, when were the times where I did my best work, and I realized that with a lot of projects, I love to obsess over a project. I can work nonstop for like a whole day to 3 days to a week on a project, and then after that I move on from it. Versus other people, if you have a project, you might want to do like an hour of it a day, but that's just not me. I just love to just stop everything and do that one thing and like obsess over it. And once I actually changed my work style to this, I realized that I got a lot more done. Instead of trying to do a writing habit of, 30 minutes, an hour a day, instead I would literally sit down maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week and just like for 5 hours straight, just writing nonstop. It's like really obsessive. I'm very impressed because I would get into a serious flow state and feel very satisfied afterwards. So what I'm doing is kind of grouping and batching a lot of tasks into large chunks of time instead of short chunks of time in a day. And I realized that works a lot better for me because switching from one task to the other, while I can do it, it is a little bit jarring to just work on one thing for 1 hour and then switch to another thing for another hour. It just doesn't work well for me. So similarly, even with reading books, for example, I love reading books in giant chunks of time instead of just reading like 30 minutes a day. And as a result, throughout the week, each day looks quite different. And this is really different from how I used to schedule in, let's say, college. I would have like my regular Google Calendar, but I also have the Google Calendar chunking specific hours of the day, like on this hour, I will have my dinner. In this hour, I will meet with my friends, or I have this club activity. In this hour, I will read for 30 minutes. And it never works out that way, especially with working out. Because what will happen is I'll dedicate like a specific time of the day to working out. And if the previous arrangement bleeds into that time, I'll just be like, oh, the time for working out already passed. Guess I'm not gonna work out today. And that's not very helpful for your goals at all. So what I did instead is I just need to make sure what my top 3 goals for the day is, and just make sure I get those done no matter what. And that's how I've actually been able to work out more consistently with working out, for example, is because I say I have to get my workout in no matter what by the end of the day. And so even if it's like, even if I had all these other stuff, if by the evening I still haven't done it, then I need to go get my butt to the gym, right? And what I realized is that once I started doing that, I was like, well, I kind of want to get the easiest thing out of my like top 3 goals of the day out of the way. So I actually started going to the gym earlier in the morning just so I can get off my list and feel accomplished that it's already done. And then I can focus more of my hours to other stuff, the other stuff being the things I can get into flow state with. Working out is probably the only thing I can't do for that, where I can't, work out for 5 hours and then be my workout, and that'll be like my one workout for the whole week. It doesn't work that way, but for everything else it could work. So if you're also having difficulty with consistency or switching from task to task quickly and doing a bunch of little tasks throughout the day, then I recommend you try out this method for the coming month and see if it works better if you just batch do certain tasks in like full hours. And remember, y'all, if something is not working for you, don't blame yourself, blame the system. See how you can adjust your productivity systems to match the way you work better. I was supposed to drink this while videoing, but I realized it's still really hot, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna burn my tongue if I try drinking it right now. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, my chamomile tea is okay. But yeah, how about you guys? How's your January going? Did it go the way you expected? Did it not? And if not, what do you think you're going to be doing in February that may be different from January? I'm a firm believer that if you have certain goals, you can start your goals not just in the new year, but really any time of the year, even in June. Not to say that we should procrastinate, but mainly just to be like, don't beat yourself up for however you did in the past. It's already the past, and as I like to believe, the past and the future are an illusion, and the only thing that's real is the present at this moment, so you can decide how you want to proceed with your day. Okay, I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say in the comment section. See you, bye!